The American Revolution might have never happened. Not everyone in the 13 American colonies wanted independence, and almost no one imagined that the colonists, with no standing army and no navy, could defeat the strongest military power in the world since the Roman Empire.
And when we look back across the centuries, the great events of history sometimes seem neat and orderly, planned out in advance. But many times, the small events that led to great ones were disorderly and accidental. The Boston Massacre was one of those.
Neither side meant for there to be bloodshed that day.
March 5th, 1770.
In Boston, Massachusetts.
A wet snow had fallen overnight.
Perfect for making snowballs.
Look, the crowd is gathering around the customs house.
That's where the money from the hated taxes is stored.
A single sentry stands guard.
Lobsterback! Go home, Lobsterback! They called the British Lobsterbacks because of their red coats.
In those days, lobsters weren't considered a delicacy. They were everywhere along the shores, and in minutes you could pick up more than you could carry. Only the very poor people ate them, and others used them for fertilizer.
The British are thieves! Tyrants! Invaders! Tar and feather them, Lobsterback! Actually, the kind British soldier wanted to be friendly with the American colonists.
The British soldiers did not want to be here, so far away from their homes, but the colonists saw them as an occupying army, which they were.
It was an impossible situation.
The current of events was moving too quickly for anyone to control.
Go away, you thugs! Thugs? He called us thugs!
He might rightly have called us thugs if we had invaded London.
Uh-oh. Now they're starting to throw snowballs at the sentry.
Down with British tyranny! Down with the Townshend Act!
See that man who just shouted down with the Townshend Acts? That's Crispus Attucks, a black sailor.
Most of the facts about his life have been lost in time, but he's about to pay a big price for his views.
The Townshend Acts provoked all this.
The Townshend Acts were import duties. In other words, taxes on goods imported from England.
England taxed goods such as paper, glass, paint, and tea. The colonists didn't object to paying all taxes. Every British person paid taxes. It's just they wanted to be consulted about it.
The men who wanted independence, patriots, such as Sam Adams, Paul Revere, and Ben Franklin, needed a cause to rally people to their side. Lofty talk and beautiful language just wouldn't do it. They needed something concrete, something everyone could understand. With the Townshend Acts, the British handed the patriots a cause.
Coincidentally, there was a political battle going on back in England between two competing parties. One side used the issue of colonial taxes to taunt the other side. Neither really cared about the issue itself, but they should have.
To see how this happened, let's shift the scene back to the English Parliament in London.
I want to go see it again. I know.
You're cowards! You're afraid of the Americans! You dare not tax America, you whine!
That was Lord Grenville. He used to be the head of Parliament, sort of like our president, but he got voted out of office, and now he wants to gain it back.
Do I fear the Americans? No. Am I a coward? Do I dare not to tax America? I dare. I am no coward. I dare to tax America.
And that was Lord Townshend. He's like our Secretary of Treasury.
Do you know it, Lord Townshend? Honest to God, I can see it.
By God, you will see it.
It's interesting to wonder what might have happened if the British had behaved more diplomatically, more intelligently toward her colonies in America. But colonies, especially those so far away, were expensive to maintain. Lord Grenville, looking for a cause to get him re-elected, found a popular one in the idea that the colonists should help pay for their keep. It wasn't a smart move, but Lord Townshend jumped at it.
And that led straight to trouble. And back to Boston.
As you can see, the angry crowd has grown.
Tar and feather, Lord Townshend! That shows what you know. Lord Townshend's been dead these last 3 years.
Good! May he rot! May old England rot!
Stop throwing things, you rabble! I'll shoot in self-defense.
Defense? We're the ones who need defense against you!
Here comes John Gray.
Break it up! Everyone go home!
John Gray owns that local rope-making shop over there. Many Britons were against independence because they thought it would be bad for business.
Go home, I say! Leave that sentry alone, or you'll cause trouble!
You've got some nerve, John Gray! He's been hiring British soldiers at the expense of Americans. Shame on you, John Gray. You're a traitor, Gray. He's not the traitor. You're the traitors. You betrayed England and your king.
Tar and Feather King George.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
That was England.
Bring it up! Bring it up, I say! They're throwing snowballs again.
And rocks.
Here comes an officer.
It's Thomas Preston, captain of the guard.
Disperse, you troublemakers, disperse at once or I'll call out the guard.
Look, he's drawing his sword. He means to attack us.
Rock hits the captain.
Now it's going to turn serious.
Stop this.
Go home and supervise your British soldiers.
They're probably loafing. Send in the guard.
Here they come, and they're armed for battle. Captain Preston takes his place at the head of the line.
Why you fire on us? You don't dare fire on us.
Wait, Captain, wait. I'm certain we can sell this without violence.
That's what you promised. A respected local merchant who tries to act as a peacemaker.
But it's too late for peace.
Sir, I trust you no harm to these people.
By no means, sir, but with fire and self-defense, and make no mistake about that.
Put down your weapons and fight like men. Cowards.
Step back, you people. Don't crowd us. You stand warned.
Stop throwing things. Stop this now.
But one of the citizens reaches out and grabs one of the soldiers' muskets.
No.
The gun goes off.
Then all the soldiers fire. It's happened! First bloodshed and the war hasn't even started!
5 people are dead, including Christmas addicts, and several others were wounded. The wounded and the dead were carried from the streets.
Captain Preston seems panic-stricken. He didn't mean for this to happen, and he'll have to answer for it. He's marching his men away, screaming at them, as the gun smoke fades as the cold winter bleeds.
But the story didn't end there.
Captain Preston and his men were placed on trial for murder. One of the famous patriots, John Adams, volunteered to defend them.
Are you out of your mind, Adams? Those men killed Americans in cold blood. How can you defend them?
I didn't do it because I love England. I did it because I love liberty. There can be no liberty if that fair trial is denied to anyone.
The soldiers were found guilty of manslaughter by a jury of Bostonians and given only token punishment. That was a fair verdict, because in order to be guilty of murder, you had to intend to kill a person.
And that wasn't the soldiers' intention. And besides, they were provoked by a crowd. No one in that crowd deserved to get shot. But without them, the words and actions, the incident would have never happened.
I hope you're happy, Adams.
The truth, but it serves that aim to not so matters in court of justice.
John's right. How can we accuse the British of taking away our rights and then turn around and do the same to their citizens?
The radical patriot, Samuel Adams, agreed with his cousin John completely on everything, including the right to resist injustice and tyranny, the right of freedom.
But Sam believed that to attain freedom, he sometimes needed to stretch the truth. He stretched it a lot. Let's step outside, and you'll see what I mean.
About it, murder. Redcoats murdered the citizens of Boston. Get the latest by Sam Adams, eyewitness to the massacre. Innocent blood crying to God from the streets of Boston by Sam Adams. Get one while they last.
Sam also encouraged his friend, Paul Revere, to engrave a picture of the shooting on a copper plate so it could be printed on paper and widely distributed. It showed a picture of British soldiers intentionally firing into a crowd of respectable, unarmed citizens. This picture became the truth to most colonists. That's what propaganda is all about.
Sam Adams was a true radical. But then, the idea he and some other patriots believed in was also radical in those days. The idea was this: the Republic should, and could, choose their own leaders.
By the way, on March 5th, 1770, the very day of the Boston Massacre, English Parliament repealed the Townshend Act. The good news of the taxes would reach American shores several weeks too late.